Uh, Welcome everybody. I hope this year is going very well. My name is Fongang Rodrique. I am currently a technical writer for Rocket.Chat, and I was a GSOC student back at 2019. Started early on. So thank you for making time to sit in for this session. And I'm going to be talking briefly about the best practices for writing code or documenting your GSOC projects, like code documentation and project documentation, or wiki as we commonly know it in the open source world. So firstly, we are going to touch briefly about why the documentation is important, how you should structure your documentation, and the tone and language in which you should speak with or write with, how to use illustrations, and I'm just going to point out very common documentation tools that can help you document or write about it, the interesting projects that you're going to be working on. So let's dive into why documentation is important. Now, there's more than one reason why you may need documentation for your project. This slide's not changing. Okay. Guys, I think I lost it. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's just get got some more.
Yeah, now you just changed the slide.
Blank.
Yeah. You changed the slide on the platform itself and not on your screen. So I think you would have to share your screen again.
Okay. Is it changing? I'm not seeing it.
It is, but it's not sharing your screen, apparently.
Sorry, it looks like my browser stopped.
Yeah, I think like if you can move on. I know that it's a problem without the slides, but if you can move on
Okay.
without sharing the screen.
Yeah, I think fine. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Yeah, okay. So now documentation is important in more than just one way. One of the very common things that we see quite often is people work on a project, and after they are gone, there's say no way to continue contributing or maintaining that project, and you don't want that to be the case. So now documenting your project can help, say, other contributors to get a glance at what the project is and make it easy for them to also support and then write about it and also contribute code. Talking about another reason why you want to document your project, you need to be able to state out clearly, as we see Sama showed an example of what the GitHub app does. You want to state clearly the functionality of your project or whatsoever thing that you worked on, so that anybody that is coming after you should be able to see that and know that, okay, this is how useful this thing is. These are the kind of things I can gain from this project, or these are the aim or the things that this contributor or this participant provides, are the usefulness of this project. Now, it also helps maintain transparency and gives an easy means for others to collaborate. Like if I know this project has this aspect, make use of, for example, I'm using Samad again, say maybe it calls the GitHub API endpoint, something like that. If it's documented like that, then I'll know, like, okay, if I want to contribute, maybe I can contribute on this section. That's for other people that are coming after it. And it also ensures that your project continues to grow when you're not available. Now, the next slide, I think I spoke about how your structure, your document should be structured, or your wiki. You have to make navigation very easy so that people will be able to navigate through it and get what they want to get. You have to use headers and subheaders to separate the sections that you're talking about. That also helps if in case somebody wants to search it on, or the project title on Google, that can also help a little bit to show up as a search result. You need to use bullet points. It's very important to highlight like steps or instructions that someone has to use. Either they are using the the project that you just made, or they want to contribute to it. Each step has to be like bulleted or use a list to illustrate that. And the language in which you use to write should be clear and concise, so that if something sounds complicated and you think just in your head that, oh, this thing is supposed to be like this, it's definitely something that you're supposed to write down. So make sure you put it down. Another useful thing is the friendliness in your writing. Like if you read documentations, I think you will see the documentation keeps you engaged because of the tone that is being used. Sorry for the slides, but I've showed some examples. But yeah, that is something that I have to keep note of. Another thing is, now let's talk about the illustrations. It's very, very good to, for example, the GitHub app. I'm using this because somebody is going to talk about it. If the app does something, then takes you to another page that there's a lot of things going on, you can just drop in an illustration about it or a screenshot about like, okay, this section is available, this section is available. Here you can do this. You annotate the illustration. That is very, very helpful for people that are reading about it, so they know every aspect and not be doubting like, oh, what is this, and then have to go set up before finding out. When they're just skimming through the project, they can see like screenshots and see how interesting it looks like, and it gives you a chance to even show your beautiful UI if you have something of that sort. Interesting thing is, like, you'll be getting feedback from mentors to change things. So when you do, you make sure you update the docs too, because most often it falls out. So if you're working on a feature, you just make sure you write about it alongside and not wait until the end, because you may miss some little details that are very important for other people that are coming after you. So alongside, as you're implementing a feature, probably like when it's merged or something, you can just write about it. If it's something worth writing about, you just write it alongside, so that when they give updates, you just do it immediately. That also helps the project to evolve. And your formatting style should be consistent. Don't just overuse, say, bold things or use a lot of images. Just make sure you use things when it's necessary. That's just the idea. One of the common tools that we often see contributors use, or that you can get your hands on, is to write with Markdown on GitHub pages. And also, Gitbook is open source, and you can get a free account there. It gives you some interesting formatting that you can use to probably write about your project. The same thing goes if you're blogging. If you have to blog your whole experience as a GSOC candidate, you may need to be writing and need something beautiful. Now, for the screenshotting tool, you can get like browser extensions that do the thing, or I can recommend Snagit or Screen Press. So yeah, I think the slides will be shared, so you can definitely see like the spelling there if you want to look it out. And yeah, those can help you produce very beautiful images and illustrate them for other users to see very well. I think that's briefly what I have to share today. Thank you guys for your attention. I don't know if you have any question.